It is my pleasure to be presenting the 2022 G.A. Fergusson Memorial Award. This award was established to honor the memory of G.A. Fergusson, who was viewed by colleagues as an outstanding and exemplary teacher in British Columbia. The award is bestowed upon a BCTF member who exemplifies the qualities of G.A. Fergusson and has made an extraordinary contribution to the teaching profession and to public education at the provincial level. At this time, I have the great pleasure in presenting the award to a most worthy recipient and someone who is well known to all of you, Moira Mackenzie. Moira's teaching career began in 1971 at the age of 19, first as a TTOC in Vancouver and then in a temporary appointment in Surrey. It wasn't long after she secured her first permanent job as a grade 1 teacher that she was beckoned to a union meeting along with hundreds of her Surrey colleagues. Outraged over class size and severe funding shortages in their rapidly growing district, some things never change, the Surrey teachers voted to take immediate job action. The following day, under the leadership of Surrey local president Lloyd Edwards, more than 1,000 teachers headed over to the lawns of the BC legislature to demand change. Their protest resulted in an agreement that saw 4,000 new teaching positions and reduced class sizes across the province over a 3-year period. This proved to not only be a pivotal moment in BCTF's history towards full collective bargaining rights, but it also marked the beginning of Moira's political involvement in the union, inspired by the leadership of Lloyd Edwards and the collective strength of teachers. Moira joined the ranks of a long line of BCTF activists. Once active, Moira took on various roles and responsibilities at the local level throughout the 1970s and 80s within her Surrey local. She became a staff rep, local representative, provincial advisory committee member, multi-year AGM delegate, local working and learning conditions chairperson, STA bulletin editor, member of various local standing and ad hoc committees, 5 years as member of STA's bargaining team, 2 years as first vice president, and 2 years as local president. Needless to say, it was a busy time. Moira's tenure as president of the Surrey Teachers Association between 1982 and 1984 coincided with a very difficult period for teachers. Deep cuts in education and social programs resulted in an increase to the teacher-pupil ratio and subsequent deterioration in working and learning conditions in BC schools. At the time, the provincial government was hostile to teachers and the school board wasn't much better. Amidst this harsh atmosphere, Moira's presidency was a model of transparency, strength, and integrity to ensure that members in her local felt valued and included in the decision-making process. Moira's term as president of the Surrey Teachers Association included the 1983 Solidarity Strike, the teachers' job action that wasn't supposed to happen. After all, in those days, teachers didn't believe in strikes or unions, did they? Organizing teachers for that first ever provincial strike was an enormous undertaking for local presidents. In organizing members, Moira demonstrated tactical skill, strategic leadership, and steadfast perseverance to mobilize more than 3,000 teachers in her local. During the Solidarity Strike and her entire term as president, Moira instilled confidence in local members amidst much uncertainty. When she spoke, they recognized themselves, a classroom teacher through and through, with a passion for kids and a staunch defender of public education. At the provincial level, Moira served in a wide range of roles as a member of the WLC BAC committee, member of the bargaining committee, the unemployed and underemployed task force, the task force of the College of Teachers, member at large on the executive committee, and second vice president of the BCTF. In each of these roles, Moira sought to confront hierarchical structures within schools while empowering teachers in order to democratize public education, starting in the classroom. As a political activist, one of her greatest strengths was her ability to view the political landscape through teachers' eyes, whether she was advocating for funding, tackling the issue of class size, or fighting against centralized decision-making at the ministry level. After holding various roles in her Surrey local for more than 20 years, Moira was wooed away to work in Williams Lake in 1992. As can be expected, she quickly became active in Local 27, contributing her time as the communication chairperson, a local representative, and AGM delegate. She also served on the Caribou-Chilcotin School District Strategic Planning Committee at the joint request of the local president and the superintendent. During her time teaching in Williams Lake, Moira also gained considerable experience in special education as a resource teacher, working with students with diverse learning needs. She also worked in the early childhood education department at the University College of the Cariboo and taught the early childhood language and literature course for 3 years, working with adults entering the daycare and preschool field. After 8 years in Williams Lake, Moira returned to Surrey in a learning assistance role for 1 year prior to joining the Federation in 2001 as a staff member in the Professional and Social Issues Division. In 2002, Moira was granted a continuing appointment as the director of the Organizational Support Division, now known as Communications and Campaigns Division. As the director of CCD, Moira was intent on building awareness around the significant challenges facing teachers. This involved not only politicizing the membership, but getting the public, including journalists and parents, to understand what the phrase class size and class composition meant. Her leadership of BCTF campaigns and dogged determination were instrumental in helping British Columbians identify how these issues were key determinants in successful student outcomes. This strategy proved effective when teachers went on an illegal strike, fighting for the return of class size and composition language. Everyone knew what teachers were talking this way and taking this extraordinary action. It was by no means an accident that BC teachers went on an illegal strike and actually made gains instead of being crushed. Historically, it was unprecedented, and it was in great part due to the public understanding of what teachers were fighting for. During her time as director of the Communications and Campaigns Division from 2001 until 2009, Moira's understanding of political strategy repeatedly served the membership well and helped support the full-time table officers and leadership through some very difficult times. As I share many of Moira's significant roles as a teacher activist, I am sure that you would agree that the breadth of what she has accomplished is remarkable. There are very few that have contributed so richly of their time and talents in support of teachers in public education. This seemingly endless list of accomplishments of what she has done is extraordinary in and of itself. But when you consider Moira's contributions, we must also reflect upon how she approached her work and the values that have remained at the forefront of her activism and leadership. Those that have worked with Moira know that integrity is at the core of who she is. In each of her roles as teacher, local leader, provincial representative, or member of Federation staff, her actions have been guided by a strong sense of equity and fairness in all that she does, even when the going gets tough and there are hard decisions to make. Moira's actions are guided by her values, commitment to doing the right thing, even when it's not the easiest path. Nowhere has Moira's commitment to fairness been more resolute then her dedication to social justice, anti-racism, and anti-oppression principles and practice. This began back in the 1970s when she facilitated professional development workshops on anti-racism work with primary children and has remained a focal point of her life's work. I would be remiss if I also didn't take a moment to recognize Moira's work ethic and her tireless pursuit of excellence. While much has been said about her dedication and commitment, the 15-hour days and emails sent when most of us are sleeping, somehow describing Moira as hardworking, just seems a bit trite. Make no mistake, this consistent level of work and determination comes with significant sacrifice and effort, even if you are fiercely passionate about what you're doing. Fortunately, these values and attributes proved to be invaluable when Moira was appointed as Executive Director of the BCTF in July of 2009. As many of you can appreciate, the role of Executive Director of the BCTF is by no means a walk in the park. It's not always easy to be the boss of a passionate group of progressive union employees who are often skeptical of employers. Similarly, the Executive Director must also carry out the policies of the Executive Committee, adapt every couple of years to new political leadership and new leadership styles, not to mention supporting and mentoring staff in 2 unions. When not helping implement governance decisions, there is also the endless coordination of operational responsibilities along with ongoing support to the membership, to name but a few of the long list of responsibilities within the Executive Director portfolio. In her role as Executive Director, Moira took the Federation on a journey of introspection, inclusivity, and advancement of the anti-racism practices and leadership around anti-colonial work. She encouraged staff and activists to examine institutional structures within the BCTF, asking fundamental questions about how to create a more inclusive union through open and respectful dialogue. As Executive Director, for many, it seemed that Moira had come a long way from her early years of teaching, although for some, not much had changed. As offered by one of her longtime colleagues and friends, it seems that Moira and I met all those decades ago. The grade 1 anti-racist teacher and workshop facilitator hadn't gone very far. She just had a bigger stage. This undoubtedly speaks to Moira's values-driven leadership that has remained constant. Moira, as we reflect on your accomplishments, your contribution to public education in the province has been significant, as is your impact on the many members who have been inspired by your ethical leadership. Although you officially retired in 2020, we know that your ongoing work as a board member with the Institute of Public Education is just a continuation of your advocacy of education and teachers. We wouldn't expect anything less. I can think of no one more deserving to receive the Federation's highest honor. At this time, please join me in recognizing Moira Mackenzie as the 2022 recipient of the G.A. Fergusson Award.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. Moira, would you like to respond? Or
I sure would.
go ahead, love. Not respond, I meant like, please, go ahead.
Thank you. Teri, thank you so much for those incredibly kind and generous words. I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes and I appreciate it so, so much. Let me first acknowledge that I am speaking to you from the unceded territory of the Semiahmoo Nation. And my commitment is to continue learning the true history of the people and this land. I am so very honored to be receiving this award. My heartfelt thanks to the Federation, the colleagues who nominated me, to you, Teri, today, and to the members who volunteer their time as Fergusson trustees. And my sincere congratulations to Rick Kumar. I think it's so exciting that there is an Early Career Teachers Award, and so wonderful that you've won this for the very first time this award is being granted. Congratulations, Rick. This award has really served to remind me how fortunate I am. I'm very grateful to have a supportive partner with a good sense of humor, and with my nervousness, I needed that today. It's wonderful. I have a wonderful daughter, a caring son-in-law, and a little grandson who has simply stolen my heart. I'm blessed to have close family who are dear friends, and dear friends who are family. Over many years, I've been supported and inspired by great colleagues in the profession, by wise comrades in the union, brave feminists in the Federation, and amazing workmates and leaders in my two locals and at the BCTF offices. So I share this award with all of them because truly who we are together is what really matters. Through these wonderful people and these connections, I've learned so many lessons. So with the deepest admiration for all of you, I'd like to share just a few. I learned from others the importance of having an analysis to guide my engagement. Think deeply about what you stand for and measure trends against your values. Be prepared to re-examine your beliefs over and over, because just as we shape our own lives, the wisdom and experience of others can enrich and shape our lives as well. I learned that rights need exercise. There are many, many creative ways to stand up for what you believe in. They all take courage, but that's how change happens. Each generation of teachers invests courage in making change for the next. Like you, I learned how important it is to be the very best teacher you can be. Good teachers make good activists, and vice versa. But I encourage you to know when enough is enough. You're responsible for the students in your care and for wrapping yourself tightly around public education, but you're not responsible for compensating for the devastating impact of under-resourcing. Don't spend yourself on trying to fix alone what must be fixed together. I learned firsthand the importance of encouraging and supporting others so many times, and I'm thinking of the opportunities I had that Teri mentioned. So many times I hesitated, wondering if I was the right person to put my name forward. But just as often, there was someone there to help me believe in myself. It makes all the difference. Seek out those opportunities and do the same for others. And always, always leave time for unencumbered joy, for talking and laughing and singing and enjoying each other's company. It's a tradition in the BCTF, and I actually think it's just as important as all the serious debate and important decisions you make. In closing, I'd like to say that despite the very, very dark times we're living through, I feel hopeful. Why? Because this is a meeting full of dedicated teachers in an absolutely unsinkable union, steadfastly committed to making the world a better place. And there are so many, many more like you all around the province. Thank you so much. I'm so moved and I'm so very grateful.